Want to paint a daisy with me? I bet you do. I'll teach you how, right here in this video. I put some colors on my palette. There's a gray, white, green, petticoat pink, queen bee, and I added a dark pink and a darker green. I also needed some Summer Crush, so I wanted you to see how I do this. I take just a little bit with my paint spatula there, and I just put some out onto that clear Mylar sheet. That makes sure that my paint doesn't get contaminated. So look at all those pretty colors. Now we're going to get started. I take a larger round brush and I'm going to dip into my white swan and just with my brush, just make some brush strokes in all different directions. I'm going in with some petticoat pink as well. Right now what I'm doing is I'm making the background, and you just want to blend all those colors together. It's really fun to do this process, and I'm adding a little bit of the skeleton key as well. I like the skeleton key with the pink because skeleton key's kind of got a little bit of a blue tint to that gray, so it just really blends well. I'm adding in some of that darker green, that is Monet's Garden, and that will be the blurry background of maybe some leaves or whatever way back in the distance. So I'm just gonna keep on going with these colors and you can watch the process. Then I take the dark green and I make leaf-like shapes. And all you do is you just take your angled brush, make a point, then go on the other side and do the same thing. So you're gonna make one on the top, and then you're gonna make one here and one opposite that one, and then just keep working yourself down that. You would think like it's a stem in there. So just keep doing that.
Such a wonderful delight. Forgo, give up everything that I own. Yeah, I'd give it all up now just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found. You're the rose in a garden, it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh.
Then you'll add a little bit of white to the leaves just to give them a touch of a highlight and to give them some shape. So you're going to add a little bit of white or yellow, any of those colors to give them some sort of highlight. Then we're going to switch a brush and make in the queen bee the center of where our daisies are going to be. So I'm going to have one up here. And you don't have to be perfect at this because you're just making placement right now. And I'm going to put one, let's see, down here at the bottom, I think. And then I like them in threes, so a third one up there. That's all you do. And then you're ready for the next step. So lay that brush aside because you're going to need it again. And then we're going to pick up a small angled brush. And it's a 2, dipping it in the white. But we want, for those back petals, we want them to have a little bit of darker shadow to them. So I'm going to scoop into the skeleton key and gray that white up just a bit. Now you're going to start with these petals at 12 o'clock. You're going to put your brush down, flatten it out, and then pull it back up again. Then you'll do another one at 6 o'clock, and you'll do another one at 3 o'clock, and another one at 9 o'clock. So this gets your placement of the daisy, and it makes it round. And then you'll do the same thing for the other ones, and then you'll fill in the petals all the way around. At the 6 o'clock, you can leave that one a little bit shorter so that it has more of a natural shape to it, because sometimes those front petals are just a bit shorter the way you see it with your eye. And this is that darker white. Even though it looks white on the board, it is a darker white. So you're going to go around, you put your brush down, flatten it out, and then pick it back up again. And we're going to continue making all of these petals. Now we're going to go back to our yellow brush, and we're going to put some Summer Crush on it, and we're making the center of that daisy a little darker on the bottom, giving it some shadow there, because when the sun hits it, your highlight is going to be on the top of the center there. So I put a little bit of white on there, and now I'm going in with some Summer Crush and some Queen Bee and making that top more highlighted. Then you're going to take that same brush and you're going to pounce, which you're going to blend those colors together with a little bit of texture, because those center daisies have a little bit of texture to them. So going back in, making sure you're keeping that shadow on the bottom and that highlight on the top, and just pounce onto that center. And you can see how it gives it the shape that it needs. Now I'm just mixing a little bit of Queen Bee with my white to blend those two colors together. Now, making sure you have a clean brush, you're going to go in with the straight up white. This white is beadboard, and you're going to make some petals that are on top of the darker ones. And you're going to do the same thing. You already have your circle-ish pattern, so you don't need to do the 12, 3, 6, and 9. You can just go ahead and make those petals around on the inside. These petals are going to be a little bit shorter, and they're going to be able to see the dark ones in the back. So don't cover them all up.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you.
I take my water bottle and I water down that dark green Monet's Garden with my liner brush because I need to make the stem of those leaves. So you just go ahead and make the center of the stem and then a stem to each leaf, and you can go over top of the leaves. Most of the other ones we covered up with the daisies, which that's fine. We're going back to that yellow brush and we're going to fix those centers just a bit on those flowers because some of our petals went over top of the center. And so we're going to just drag a little bit of that yellow into the white and taking that center to be a little bit more natural. So pushing that yellow into the white part of the daisy gives it a little bit of shadowing and a little bit of depth as well. The next step that I do, I let this dry for 24 hours. Why I do that is because the DIY paint will come off with water, and this is a water-based product, so you may smear the paint. And if you wait 24 hours, the longer you wait to seal this, the harder the paint gets and the harder it is to come off. So I wait 24 hours, I then don't have to worry about it. The DIY Big Top is a sealer that is non-yellowing. It is all natural, and if you treat it incorrectly and contaminate it, it will start to stink like sour milk. You don't want that. What I do is I open up my jar of Big Top, and then I have another jar that says Dirty Big Top on it. So I already have some in here, but I pour this into there a little bit. And then if I contaminate this container, it's okay because it's only a small amount. You don't want to contaminate your whole big jar. So when you pour it out, seal this back up again, and it will not stink. It will not be contaminated. Now you have your Dirty Big Top. I just take an artist brush because this is a small board. If you'd have a canvas or something larger than this, you could take a larger brush and brush this on. But the DIY Big Top brightens up that paint color. You still don't want to scrub, because if you scrub, you might interrupt those colors as well, those paint pigments. So you can see how the color came out in this daisy painting when we big topped that. I painted another one and thought you might want to see me big top it as well. I have to anyway, so let me turn it this way and you can see how the colors just brighten up on there. And it'll dry with a nice sheen. Right like that. There we have 2 daisy paintings, all done, sealed. Now we're gonna sand them, and I'll tell you why. The big top has dried. I'm gonna go ahead and sand these edges. My DeWalt sander. This is a quick and easy way for you to do this. If you do not have a sander like this, you can just do it with hand sandpaper. And it'll just take a little bit longer, but we're gonna do it the fast way. After you get your board sanded, the reason that I put the big top on here first is because I want to break the seal of the big top so either my dark wax or my dark and decrepit can absorb into the wood. Had I sanded it first and then sealed it with big top, the big top's gonna seal in that edge and it's not going to stain. I need raw wood for the stain to take or for the dark and decrepit. This is a DIY product. It's all natural. I really love it. If you don't like staining, this is your thing. It's water soluble. It washes up clean as a whistle. Just use a little brush soap and it's good. So how we put this dark and decrepit on so it doesn't get like, we need to control the dark and decrepit too. So the way that I control it is I take my squirt bottle and I wet all of my edges on my board. So now the board is wet. It's not going to absorb in as harshly as had I not wetted it. So also on the top here, you can see I got way over on the top into the painted area. What I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm getting that edge because we have a little bit of sanded edge on there. So that don't look very good. You're gonna take a baby wipe while your dark and decrepit is still wet and clean off the painted surface. You can leave some on there if you want. Some aging is good, but now you can see how that edge of that board stained up. Had we had the big top on there, it would not have stained up like that. That's why I big top first, sand second, dark and decrepit, or dark wax, either one works. And then it makes a nice brown edge. And I wanted to tell you, I also dark and decrepit up the back side, or I dark wax it. If I'm gonna dark wax, I dark wax the back side. It just finishes it. So when you're painting boards and you're selling them or you're giving them as a gift, paint that back side. Doesn't that look much nicer than that? This little daisy shelf sitter is all complete. Looks nice on the edges, looks nice on the back, and looks so pretty on the front. I hope that you'll try and paint one of these and enjoy it as much as I have. If you need any of the products that I use to paint this sign, you can find them at thepaintedphotographer.com. And until next time, happy painting. Oh, I think I'm gonna list these 3 on my website. 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna list them. I'm making some for a craft sale I got coming up, but these 3, I'm going to push them out to my website just for you. So head on over to thepaintedphotographer.com and I'll put a link below where you can find them. Thanks, and until next time, happy painting. This little sunflower shelf, this little